It's time to join Montana's very own and your voice for agriculture, Talkin' Ag Lane Nordland, for today's LaneCast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the LaneCast Ag Podcast. It's a big week for producers across Western Ag Network country and the nation. Of course, we got Spear Livestock Video kicking off in Sioux City, Nebraska. Their first big sale of the season with their Corn Belt Classic. Over 104,000 head selling today and tomorrow. Then later in the week, Northern Livestock Video selling over 68,000 head later in the week there out of Billings, Montana. Joining us here today out of Central Montana's auctioneer Kyle Shobe. He's down there selling cattle on the virtual block. And Kyle, what's it been like? A lot of yearlings selling here today from across the countryside. What's that market been like despite seeing this feeder cattle market really go into the red today? Overbought conditions, the market is saying. Fundamentals are there, but anything to drive the market down. But how has this video market held up here?
It's always interesting to me when we get to this first big week in June. It always seems like early in the week, the board wants to back up. It's just a little bit of a head scratcher, but I'll say this, today, it did not seem to affect the cash trade one iota. We had, like you mentioned, we had yearlings on today. There's not many yearlings out of Montana that are really left for sale, so it's like, I wouldn't say a light test of the market, because there were still, 22,000 head of yearlings that did trade today, but relative to what we've normally seen, probably a little softer in numbers, but nothing soft about the market. The silver was as good as everybody expected it to be. And the bottom line was kind of coming into this, we really didn't know what to expect. They've been trading pretty handily around in the country and things, but to really have a true price discovery test just had until today. By y'all have got a good.
And obviously, the sale's still going there in Nebraska. What would have kind of been some of those trends for these yearlings? I know there's a lot of current delivery cattle selling today as well, but what would have been some of those trends? I know the official report isn't out yet, but what are we seeing, especially for these older cattle?
Well, it was out of eastern North Dakota, which is a little bit removed from us, but there is some lighter cattle that's really caught a lot of people's eye. Some high 6-weight cattle up in the 360 range. That was just a tremendous sale. But when we kind of worked into the state of Montana, it was every bit as good on 8 weights and 9 weights. All the sheep and cattle out of the Cascade Country, 8 1/4s at 311, 865s at 308.50. There was a big drag of cattle out of western South Dakota from Jeff Long and his family, as just really solid in the 9-weight range, the high 9 weights up to 294 and on 295 in some cases. Here's 540 steers, weigh 960 at 299. 810-pound steers in a big drag again, 512 of them, 326.5. So those are just a few of the highlights, and again, just really solid interest on the steer front. Now the heifers, not a pile of spinning heifers on the auction day from what we're normally see this time of year. A lot of stuff already in date, or some people kind of wait to see if the proof's in the foot. Well, we proved it again today. We got some cattle right out of Central Montana that we had consigned from our friends at Quick and Salt Creek. 7 1/4s at 337 to deliver the second week or the second day of August. 8 1/4 weight heifers, 2 big loads of those at 302, and then some smooth 700-pound spade heifers at 343. So those were just well beyond what we anticipated, and just good to see this cash rate holding up despite what's happening on the board.
And obviously, Cattle Facts has reported we will possibly seeing some pockets of herd rebuilding depending on weather conditions in the U.S. shaping up for tomorrow. What are we looking like heifers being on those heifer calves? So what's the percentage on the sale tomorrow if you have those numbers handy?
I don't have those handy, but the Central Montana cattle are just every bit as strong as what they normally are. I would say, generally speaking, and I don't have our data right in front of me to back it up, but I would say a few more heifers being kept at home. But I'll tell you what, with everything we've talked about today, with the changing of the boards, the news that you hear out of the Middle East, things, they still haven't made any more cattle. So on a supply and demand basis, I think the fundamentals remain what we've seen. And tomorrow we'll start midday with those Central Montana calves that always set the bar kind of for that Montana Fall Delivery Calf Market. And once again, we have not tested the market on these in auction setting yet. So tomorrow will be the first day to do it, and we certainly look forward to it. The quality is always good. There's consigners that have been selling on these deals for almost 40 years with Superior that we sell tomorrow right out of Lewistown and Greater Central Montana area. We can be pretty confident saying it's going to be solid.
Well, again, a lot of folks just watching this market, eager to see what prices will be. This really does set the tempo for the rest of the summer. What are some tips for producers looking to market cattle? Obviously, you and your family have Lewistown Livestock Auction there in central Montana. What are some tips you have for them here in the early summer, I call it, as we look ahead for 2025? We know things could change fast if an unknown event happens, but if it's smooth sailing, we're going to see some great prices, record prices for producers. But what are some tips from the marketing standpoint?
We can always talk about consistency in your marketing, because I think we get into a year like this and when we start thinking, well, what should we do? There's no doubt about it. We've moved a lot of cattle up. We've been doing it since last summer, really. Cattle selling earlier than they traditionally would. We see it on the videos, we see it in the country trades, we see it in the livestock auctions across the state of Montana, and I think really across the entire country. We moved a lot of cattle early. We marketed them earlier just because of the nature of the market. We're talking about yearlings, calves, or even open cows. Kill cow market section has really drawn a lot of those cows out early. So, but I think we have to keep in mind that as we assess the situation around us, there's something to be said for maintaining consistency. If you look at the law averages over a 10-year span, there's something to be said for that. A couple other things that come to mind are health of the cattle. It just becomes ever more important in these kind of market conditions that we're offering a product that a buyer can feel confident about. And getting that set of shots in them heading into the weaning time is just critical when it comes to marketing. Now, not everybody's set up for that. We certainly understand that. And there's buyers out there that are takers on those spring shot only cattle. But if you're looking to increase the number of bidders and the amount of interest, they certainly having 2 rounds of shots is in some cases a simple thing to do. In a lot of cases, it's not that simple, but certainly something we're considering in this market. The last thing that I would say in this lane is that when we get into market time like this, when everything's rallying, we're setting world records every time we get on the auction block. It seems like it's important that we don't get this thing is really good. It could fall a long ways and still be really good. Wouldn't feel great, but we are certainly in high times right now. I think it's important we enjoy them. Realize that there is disparity in this market. Sometimes it's really hard to explain as a marketer why one set of 6-weight calves or 800 or 900 pound yearlings bring one price, and the next set behind them brings 10, 12, 15 cents back. There may not be a whole lot of explanation, but if you look through a video sale catalog, it doesn't matter which video company we're talking about, you start looking at the rep, you look at the terms, the delivery date, and the way up. All these things factor into how appealing those cattle, how digested they are, so to speak, to the buyer base. So there's a lot more to the story than just the pounds and the price on a sale report at the end of the day. And I think that could go for cattle through a video auction or cattle through a sale rate on any class. But I think it's important we kind of understand that too. A few other things to kind of keep in mind is that, at these levels, we're not going to see heifers at 10 cents back like we did 30 years ago. We're in a different time. Think about it as a percentage. If those heifers are bringing 10 cents back when cattle are worth $1, take that percentage and relate it to its current value. But I think that 20 to 25 to 30 cents back is not unrealistic when you think about where we're at on this market. So I think that's more than just a few things and tips, I guess, but a few things to just keep in mind as we kind of work our way through the marketing season.
No, definitely a big week there in Nebraska. A lot of folks eager to watch those calves sell tomorrow. Again, a lot of Montana and Region 2 calves will start selling. And of course, we have that Northern video auction later in the week as well. So a lot of cattle from right here in Western Ag Network country selling. I know it's a busy day there. I don't want to hold you up anymore, Kyle, but just any last thoughts you just want to share with our audience before I let you get back to your day there at the Corn Belt Classic Day 1?
Well, it's certainly our hearts go out to those who've been hit by the numerous hailstorms around our part of the country here in the last 3 days. It's just been atrocious. And I know that, we get into marketing times like this, and Mother Nature doesn't want to play ball with us. It just kind of feels like, gosh darn it, we were really close to having just a home run this year. So our hearts and thoughts go to those who are dealing with the aftermath of some of those storms. I think it's important to realize that as we move forward here, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, enjoy the times that we're in. Take these times and invest back into the program, whether we're talking about genetics or some of the ways that the calves are handled. I think that helps bolster the future when it comes to marketing. So I think that would be a parting thought, I guess. But there's certainly some great days ahead.
Well, again, Kyle Shobe joining us here today from Sioux City, Nebraska. Day 1 of the Corn Belt Classic of Superior Livestock Video Auctions really start to the summer run. And of course, we'll continue to have more conversations. And just for our viewers, I will be up in the mountains trailing cattle on day number 2 of this sale. So I may not have a full report for you till a little later in the week, just for some transparency there. But Kyle, thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're welcome.
Well, with that, friends, make sure and stick along and subscribe and follow all of our Western Ag Network social media channels and subscribe to the LaneCast Ag Podcast today. I'm Lane Nordlund. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the LaneCast with Talkin' Ag, Lane Nordlund. Don't forget to subscribe to the LaneCast on your Apple or Android devices. We look forward to joining you next time on the LaneCast.